Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary and high school age. I help you implement systems and strategies in order to overcome the chaos and cultivate simplicity in your home and homeschool. I do that here on YouTube, over in my website, townsendhouse.com, as well as in my membership community. If you've not checked it out, I would love for you to come check it out. Today, I am going to be chatting all about why you should start your 2025 goals notebook. So let's get into it. Okay, guys, we are in the middle of October and I am talking about 2025 goals. I know I have shared about 2025 goals a little bit over the past couple of months. I have been thinking about them quite a lot lately. Part of that is because the new power sheets were released in September. It was very early this year. I have mine. I have a full walkthrough and review of the 2025 power sheets goal planner. If you're interested in checking it out, it will be linked in the description box. But even before the power sheets came out, I started considering goal ideas for 2025. I think that I actually purchased my goals notebook in August of this year, which is very, very early. I have never focused on goals that early before for the next year. And there are a few reasons why. This is going to be mainly about why you should have your own goals notebook for the coming year or have a place to put ideas that you have. So we'll start there. So the reason that you should have a little notebook to write down ideas is number one, so that you do not forget them. Oftentimes, as we're going through our day-to-day, or even as we're moving through our current year's goals, we will have ideas and understand that we will not have time to focus on those ideas in the current season. It is possible that you could move it to the next quarter or the next month, but oftentimes when we think of these ideas, they're more long-range ideas and we need a landing place for them. So for me, having a little goals notebook like this is just a Leuchtturm A5 notebook, is incredibly helpful because what you can do is write that idea down and let it go for the time being. Doesn't mean that you let it go forever, but it is in a spot, in a holding spot for you for whenever you decide that you're ready to consider your next year's goals. Now, like I said, this could be something where you're thinking about the next season, especially if you follow the 12-week year method of goal setting, where you are setting new goals every quarter. You can still do that in coordination with the power sheets, but it's just a little bit different. You're mainly focusing on specific areas of your life and creating new goals for each 12-week period. If you've not read that book, I definitely recommend it. There are so many helpful tools and hints in there to help you with goal setting, but you need a landing place for those ideas because you don't want to keep them in your head. If they are staying in your head, you're not able to make as much progress on your other goals because your brain is going to say, oh, well, what about that other thing? You should think about this other thing. You should think about this other thing. And honestly, that is one of the big reasons that I also keep a little master to-do list notebook. It's another little A5 Leuchtturm notebook. In the month of September, we went through keeping a master to-do list, why it's important, how it reduces the mental load. Over in my membership community, I will leave that linked for you if you are interested in checking it out. But having a separate goals notebook is very helpful to keep those ideas in a place that you are going to be able to revisit them so you don't completely forget about them, but that you do not have to focus on in the moment. And that's really the main purpose of having a goals notebook. When you come up with an idea that you know you don't have time for right now, you don't want to forget it because there must be something about that idea that you want to consider further. It could be a new system, it could be a tool that you want to try out, it could be some efficiency thing that you want to do, or it could just be something really enjoyable that you thought about or saw like on an Instagram reel or something. So it can go one of two ways. When we see something out in the wild that we think is interesting, maybe a new skill to learn or something we want to try with our kids or a trip that we may want to go on or something, a book or, whatever it is, you can either see it out there and then completely forget about it and then come back later and say, geez, there was something that I wanted to do in relation to this certain thing, but I cannot remember it. Well, if you had written it down in your goals notebook, you would have a place to look for it. The other part of that is that it is something maybe related to a system that you have in your home or something that needs to be done in your home, or, with a plan or with homeschooling, and it just keeps reminding you. You keep reminding yourself, oh, I need to think about X. But because you've not written it down, your brain doesn't allow you to let it go. It wants you to address it right now. It wants you to make progress on that thing right now, even though you already know in your mind that you don't have time to make that change or implement that system or try that new thing. So your brain keeps reminding you, and that takes brain energy away from the goals that you're currently working on. So you want to have a landing space for all of your ideas without taking away from your current projects. And so this is very, very helpful. Now, like I said, I got mine early. I have always kept a goals journal. Since I started setting goals way back in high school, I have been setting goals since my senior year in high school or my junior year in high school. I have loved setting goals. I love the systematic approach to goal setting. I like the lists. I like all of that stuff, and I've been doing it forever. Even when I moved into the Power Sheets back in 2015, I still kept a goals notebook. Part of that was because I love to write and consider and journal, and I have a lot of reflection that I like to do with regards to areas of my life, with goals that I've had in the past, with new ideas. And so having space to write those down in a little notebook is helpful. Before I used Lloydstrom notebooks, I would use the little notebooks from Cultivate What Matters. They have these, I don't know if they have this particular one anymore, but I know that they do have these little notebooks, and they are just a little bit larger than A5 size, a little bit taller, a little bit wider, but you can use any notebook. It does not have to be a notebook from Cultivate What Matters. It does not need to be a Lloydstrom notebook. I personally like these because it encourages me to use it more. You can use a notes page in your planner if you want to do that, or you can also use the note space that is at the back of the Power Sheets, or if you are just getting Power Sheets for the first time this year, there is space at the beginning to brainstorm your year ahead. So you can always write things down in your actual goal planner if you have that and you don't keep a notebook specifically for goal planning. However, because I start to think about goals typically before the new Power Sheets comes out, and because I like to take so much time for reflection, it is helpful for me to have the goals notebook ahead of time. It does not mean that I look at it constantly, but it is there if I have an idea and I can write it down. Now, sometimes I'm out and about and I write a note on my phone, but then I do transfer it to this because I am not reliable when I take digital notes to actually make progress on any of those things. Probably should have digital declutter as part of my goals for 2025. That's a good idea that I may write in my goals notebook after I film this video. But honestly, writing it down is such a huge help. I have noticed that when I write things down, my brain understands that I have a system to work through all of the things that I write down at this point, and that is so helpful to reduce the mental load for me, regardless of whether it's goal related, stuff that I'm really excited about doing, or if it's more tedious work, home projects, or things that need to be improved around our house or in our homeschool. So having space to physically write things down is incredibly helpful. It makes that connection for me, and it allows my brain to kind of let it go for the time being, but also is a reminder on the things that maybe aren't stuck in my brain as things that really need to change, but they are things that I'm interested in and want to maybe look further at a later point in time. So when you have a journal to put things in, it just allows you to keep track of your thoughts, and it also helps you to make more progress on your projects as you're going throughout your year. Now, this little goals journal is something that I will use for the entire year of 2025. I will sit down and do all of my reflections for my 2024 goals. I will do all of my ideas for 2025. I write my action plans in here before anything even goes into my power sheets. There are some of the questions in the prep work that I just need more space to consider, and that's why I use this notebook. Not everybody is as wordy as me or processes through writing the same way that I do. Actually, a lot of people I know struggle with this aspect of goal setting, but I find such value in the reflection, in the considering, to flesh out the different ideas and really make sense of why it's important to me and what changes I'm actually going to get after I do a particular project relating to a goal. So those are the main reasons why I think keeping a goals notebook is helpful. It's also helpful because you will randomly have things pop up in your brain in July or in August or in September. Especially as the new homeschool year gets started, you will say, oh, well, think I want to try that next year. And you know that you don't have time this semester, but maybe after Christmas you could implement something like that. So having the notebook so that you can write down those thoughts and revisit them at a later point is very, very valuable. It does not have to be only a goals notebook. Like I said, we did do a workshop over in my membership community on how to reduce mental load using like a brain dump journal or a master to-do list notebook. You could certainly combine any sort of goal ideas into that. It just becomes a collection very similar to a bullet journal that you will revisit at some point in the future. And again, if you don't want to keep a notebook specifically, but you do have a goal planner, I would encourage you to have space in that planner or tape a wildcard page with some different ideas on it into your power sheets or other goal planner, just so that you have those ideas available, because pretty soon we are going to start considering our goals for 2025. And it's always nice to have that information ahead of time on the areas of your life that you may have challenges with in the moment. Now, when you're considering your goals in December, you may not be thinking about those things that you wanted to do in the summer because you're so far removed from the summer. And so having taken note of those things when they cross your mind is very, very helpful. It will help plan out your seasons. It will help you with your goal setting in general and understand the direction you want your life to be. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have questions about anything that I talked about, please let me know in the comments, or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. Again, I do have a full walkthrough and review of all the new Cultivate What Matters products, the power sheets, the Fresh Start daily and weekly planners if you're more interested in 90-day goal planning, also the season by season daily and weekly planners that are just planners and not goal related. They work in coordination with the power sheets. I have reviews and walkthroughs of all of those. I also have a link if you're interested in getting one of those products that you can get 10% off your entire purchase. I will leave that linked in the description box below. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.